All right, so back to the story. This was 2014. My whole life I'd been a leftist, anti-white, and I changed in 2014 and I became a right-winger, pro-white. Now, like I said, it's complex why this stuff happened. None of it would have happened if my mom and dad were just talking to me. The reason why I was on Kauai writing on my leftist stuff on INTV Central was, like I said, I wanted to first just go back to, I graduated from UCSD with a bachelor's degree. I wanted to go get a master's degree, but then my grandpa was trying to make me independent. And I asked my mom, can you help me go to get a master's degree? But she said, no, you're schizophrenic. You believe, she believed the Quadrant model was schizophrenia. So she's like, no, you got to go live on Kauai. You're a schizophrenic loser. You're not allowed around us. You need to go to Kauai and live with your grandpa. And that's why I started doing all my stuff on ITV Central, the communist stuff. And like I said, I thought my grandpa was a white supremacist when I went there. So I reacted against that, but I was always a communist my whole life. And then, like I said, I had all that stuff on INTV Central. Then I took it all, or then I wanted to take it all down, but I'd already been kicked off INTV Central. So I couldn't take it down. And then, everything was falling apart. I wanted to get basketball videos. I was posting my Quadrant stuff on Facebook, and my mom was hiding it and deleting it because she had my Facebook password, which I didn't know. Then I started writing on my communist stuff to try to get a reaction. And also I wrote it because I wanted people to think how smart I was and to give me basketball videos. But then I figured out my mom had my passwords, so then I unhid everything. And then, everything just fell apart. Then the people who said they had my basketball videos said they didn't have it, and I wanted to get the basketball videos, so I thought maybe if I become a right-winger, I can get power and get the basketball videos. But my point is, though, also, I really wanted the basketball videos. Because people, and I'll kind of get to this a little bit, but people aren't gonna believe me at this point because most of the videos were lost on the day that my friend tried to steal my car. But I did things that nobody does, just incredible stuff. Like NBA players, you don't see them do it. And if I could, and then when I study it, I could duplicate what I see. It would help me out so much if I had the videos, and it helps me out so much. And just when I was playing with Compton College, that's how I got my shot doing better again. And the coaches, they were like, damn, who taught you how to play? Nobody taught me how to play. I was studying the videos of when I was younger. And I just did incredible stuff. And it was only when I was playing with Compton College when I started to really fix my shot, looking at how I used to move into it, which I'd never figured out before playing with Compton College. I was in 2019. But my point is, though, it would have helped so much to get the videos. So just to get back to the story. At this point, had come back from Kauai. I was living on Kauai, 2013. I'd always been a leftist. At the very end of living on Kauai, I started to shift to become a right winger. So went from being anti-white my whole life, and I started to become pro-white. And like I said, I was noticing that white people had more swag flow, and I had a shift, and I started thinking damn, my whole life I wanted race mixing. I was anti-white. That's part of the reason why I was so into basketball and so into rap music and stuff, because I saw those as black things or more for people of color, and that's the way I was my whole life. And I started to question it. I started being whoa, I had an identity crisis. Then when I came back, I never went crazy, but I switched and I was like, dude, there is an agenda. There's a agenda to destroy white people. I know because I was a part of that shit. I wasn't explicitly a part of it. I wasn't a part of Illuminati, but I was like, dude, there is an Illuminati type of thing going on. I see it. I see it on the TV. I see it everywhere. There's a race mixing agenda, and it's anti-white, anti-Aryan. And that seems to be the key to the agenda, is to destroy the Aryans. That's what, and I was like, dude, it's not freaking, the people who believe that aren't crazy. I can see it. It's plain as day. So I switched, and I started feeling bad for the white people. My whole life I was against white people, and then I started feeling bad for them. And that's when I came back from Kauai, and I came back to Los Angeles. Now, like I said, when I think that one of the things that, because I think it's because I saw myself as Jewish, and when I saw myself as Jewish, I saw race mixing. I saw Jews as more black and everything, and I saw the Aryans as a threat. But I remember one thing that I believed when I was a leftist was I thought that the Bible was anti-empire. That was one thing I wanted to believe. So like that thesis about how like the Seventh-day Adventists have that the four beasts are the four empires, and I wanted to associate empires with white people, right? And really the Bible's about destroying of these empires, and that's what the book of Revelation is about, was about the destruction of Rome. And I had discovered that theory that the Bible was just a metaphor of the destruction of Rome. So I wanted to see as like Rome as like white people, and you know, the Jews were really just communists, and they were always for race mixing. And if you look at the Bible, really, some people think that it's against race mixing, but really it's for race mixing. And see, I was a leftist, and my ego was gearing me toward that interpretation. Now, my grandpa, now I would know, he would say that in the flow, you're not necessarily for, you're not necessarily against, but you see things the way they are, right? But then I switched. And when I became like a right winger, I was thinking like, yeah, you know, the Bible's anti-empire. And the problem with the empires was the empires were trying to race mix people. Like the Babylonian Empire there was too much race mixing going on. There's too much race mixing going on in Rome, and too much, you know, races to get, you know. So I switched. I became anti-white, communist, leftist to like a right winger, nationalist, pro-white person, right? And one of the things that I wanted, like the main thing I wanted was the basketball video. So like I said, I reached out to my friend Ronaldo, and he didn't have the videos, and I tried to reach out to people, and I told myself, okay, I'm not going to ask anybody else. I'm going to get power, and then once I get power, I'm going to have so much power, I'm going to have an army behind me, and I will make sure that I get my basketball videos. So like I was, you know, I wanted them so bad. I was like, I'm going to do what I have to do to get these videos. And nobody was helping me. Like I said, if my mom and dad would just listen to me, talk to me, help me talk to people. But I was anxious. I was too anxious to ask people because I was too afraid they would say no. So then I tried to, and then once they said no, then I'd be like, then they would never give me the videos because they would not want to be seen as liars. So I was like, okay, well, first I'll get power. And I first tried to do it through the communist way, get power, and then, you know, make them scared of me. And then they'll definitely give me the videos, but then it all backfired. And if I just would have had some support from my family, like if they just would have, like I wanted to ask my dad, can you talk to some people? Can you talk to my coaches with me? Can we try to help get basketball videos? It would have helped me so much. When I studied what I did when I was unconscious, like I was the best. I was considered by many one of the best in the nation. I look at the video, nobody did what I did. I was scoring 30 points a game as a 9-year-old, and I was doing these moves that I'm not going to get into detail, skips and drags and stuff like that nobody does. Nobody does. You don't see it anywhere. And it's like, I want those videos, you know? And it would help me out so much because if you see exactly what you did, that's what I figured out in college. I never knew this until I was in college and I started studying it. If you could, you know, and like I said, the way that I figured out was I wanted to do this move that I never knew how I did it. It's like where I do this type of thing and I go. And so one day I was like looking at the video. I mean, I was trying to do it, but I would try to force it, right? But I looked at the video. I was like, okay, well, do exactly what you saw in the video. Dribble 2 with your right, dribble to the left, then do this and then go. And I did exactly what I saw in the video. I did the side skips, and then I duplicated it. So then I started realizing, oh, if I can have the videos, then I can duplicate what I did. It took me a while to figure out my shot. That was when I was at Compton College, when I started duplicating exactly what I did in my shot. But it's like magic. It's magic how that works. It's like dance moves. You got to do it exactly that way, but you need to have the videos. So I wanted the videos, and like I said, I could only rap when I was playing basketball, and I just wanted to get back into basketball. I wanted to get in when I'm playing basketball, I could rhyme really well, and not just rap. I could just make poetry really well, you know. So I wanted to get my basketball videos. So, but went from Kauai, where I was a leftist, and I went to Los Angeles, and I became a right winger, and then, you know, and then this is what happened was, then I didn't go crazy. I never was insane, but I went all out, and I was like, because like I said, one of the things I thought was I had all that communist stuff on INTP Central and it was stuck on there. Everything went out of control, right? And now I was like, well, I have all this leftist stuff. Now I have to counterbalance it with my right-wing stuff on Facebook. So I started putting on my right-wing stuff, and I really did become a right-winger. And I became against race mixing. And I went and I became extreme. And, you know, Jesus says, whatever you do, be extreme, right? He says, like, be hot or cold. And I was hot. So I was, you know, and I'm not going to lie. I was saying racial slurs, and I just, you know, and I became a extreme white supremacist, dude. That's what happened, because I was like, dude, there's a race mixing agenda going on. It's Illuminati shit, and I'm against it. And I just went all out, and I went I went full force against it, you know? And then, you know, then everyone's going to be like, oh, well, this guy's a creep. This guy's a evil. And I figured, like, because my mom and dad weren't talking to me before that, right? They already weren't talking to me. But now they could say, oh, now we definitely are not going to talk to him because, you know, look at him. He's evil, right? So again, like, so everything just went completely out of control. So then then I'm asking my grandma, can I talk to my mom? Can I please talk to mom? And can we get a psychologist to be an intermediary between us? And then my grandma was like, no, your mom said that she's not going to talk to you, but she will get you a psychiatrist because your mom says she thinks you're mentally ill. I was not mentally ill. Never been mentally ill. So, and even I'll get to this. The doctors said I was not mentally ill, and I'll get to that. But so then then I got mad and I threw a beanbag. So then my dad came and he told me, you know, this is the first time he talked to me in a long time. He just came to my grandma's house and he was like, you have to go live with your aunt and uncle in San Diego. You're not allowed to live near us. So I went to San Diego, but I had my basketball videos in Los Angeles. Like I said, I had kept them in my grandma's house. And at that time, I had not put them on the computer yet. So I was at my aunt and uncle's house in San Diego, and I just wanted to talk to my mom and dad. I wanted to get basketball videos of when I was younger, and I wanted to get the quadrant model stuff out, but no one was helping me. And my mom and dad thought I had a mental illness. They thought I had schizophrenia. They didn't believe the quadrant model. And nobody would talk to me. They wouldn't talk to me, my mom and dad. And I wanted to talk to them, and I just wanted to, you know, I wanted some support, you know. Mainly I wanted the basketball videos when I was younger. So then when I was at my aunt and uncle's house in San Diego, one thing was I did go to UC San Diego and I showed the teachers the quadrant model. Like I showed Dr. Hager and I showed people. Dr. Hager said this theory is incredible. He said this is really big. He said it's phenomenal. This is what he told me. He told me the quadrant model is phenomenal. He told me I got to get it published. And he was my chemistry teacher when I was at UC San Diego. I showed it to many other teachers. That was when I first went there. I'm going to get more into details about how everything went out of control. But then I asked my aunt and uncle, because I was stuck in San Diego, and I was like, can I please go back to Los Angeles? Because I want to get the basketball videos that I have at my grandma's house. Because I had some at my grandma's house. I lost at least 30 videos when I was at UCSD on the day that my friend tried to steal my car. And I didn't have many to begin with. But my grandma had a lot of videos at her house that I later converted to DVDs. And I also had some videos that I didn't leave in a box at UCSD. So I had a decent amount of videos, and I wanted to study them, and I wanted to also put them online at this time. So I was asking my aunt and uncle, you know, can I go back to Los Angeles? Because, you know, my family had forced me to go to San Diego, but I wanted to get those videos. So I was like, can I go to Los Angeles so I could get my basketball videos? So then my aunt's like, Ryan, this is why your mom says you have schizophrenia, because you're stuck in the past. Why do you want basketball videos? You're stuck in the past. This is why your mom says that your grandpa says that you have schizophrenia, because you won't let go of the past. Now, this is the thing. I wasn't stuck in the past. They're the ones who stuck in the freaking past, dude. My mom's the one who's stuck in the past because I just want to talk to her. But she says, no, I talked about it. I asked my mom when I was on Kauai, can I talk to you and dad? Can I talk to dad? She said, no, he doesn't want to talk to you. Don't you remember in high school how bad you treated him and how terrible you were? Your dad is never going to talk to you again in your life. And, you know, we don't want anything to do with you. And, you know, so stay out of our lives. Now, but this is the thing. They're stuck in the past because I try to tell them, listen, I'm not to blame. I really wasn't to blame. It really was because of the shoot-away machine. And I can show video. When I got the shoot-away machine, I started becoming good at stepping right foot, left foot shot because that's how I picked up off the rack. But I can show video and show exactly what the shoot-away machine did to my shot. There would have been no problems. I was a great shooter and everything was automatic. The problem was I started shooting on a shoot-away machine and it messed up my shot. And I didn't know how to fix it because I was always automatic and unconscious. And I would have stayed on automatic and unconscious and I would have continued to get better and better, but it just deteriorated my game because then my shot got messed up. Then my dad was like, well, now do this. And he told me to do the wrong thing. And he was like, well, now play defense like this. And it just, everything deteriorated from the shoot-away machine. So I'm like, I'm not the one stuck in the past. They're the ones stuck in the past. They have a false perception of the past. They think that there was something wrong with me, and they think, that I had some sort of character flaw, and I'm going to get more into that details about that, but so they don't want anything to do with me. But they don't realize if it wasn't for the shoot away machine, none of the bad stuff would have happened. Actually, amazing stuff would have happened. I would have been phenomenal with basketball. I was always getting better. I was still automatic. Even after shoot away, I was still unconscious. I was just practicing wrong, and it messed me up. And then, then my dad tried to fix it incorrectly. I'm not going to get into details. One day I would like to show my mom and dad and show them what happened. I have videos, and I can show them specifically how good shooters shoot. I can show them videos of me after the shooting machine, what it did, and all that stuff. And that's what I want to do. But, I'm not the one stuck in the past. I want to get the video so I can study it. Now they might think my aunt who does not think. Now people who know my aunt know that she has mental problems. Like she's like, a lot of people think she's very annoying, right? And I'm going to get to this more later, but she cannot think complexly, and she's just hearing what my grandpa said, or what she thinks my grandpa said, and she's just like putting me down and stuff, and not thinking, not looking at the situation in a sophisticated manner. Now, my grandpa would later say, no, I wasn't stuck in the past. My grandpa would later say, me wanting to study the basketball videos, there's nothing wrong with that. He even said, like, that's a way that you can expand your awareness, and that's a part of the flow. That's a part of inquiry, expanding your consciousness and studying that stuff, and that can actually be very beneficial. It could be. Like, there's a time and a place. Like, I was so good because I never studied videos. Like I said, the videos actually messed me up because it made me aware of the flow when I was in college, when I first looked at them. But I'm not even going to tell you guys what that means. But my point is, my grandpa says there's nothing wrong with me looking at the basketball videos. It could be very beneficial. But when I was in high school, the problem was, all that terrible stuff happened. So then my grandpa came up with this rule when we were in high school: no talking about the past. Now, he did that with good intentions. The reason why he had that, why he introduced that rule was because, he was like, yeah, don't talk about the past because, we don't want to get involved in, in fighting about it and, the negative stuff. But that's not a hard and fast rule, and that's not a black and white rule. Sometimes it's, even my grandpa would say, in the flow, you can discern what's appropriate. And sometimes it's appropriate to talk about the past, and sometimes it's appropriate to go to the past. Not always, so, and this is one of those cases where there's nothing negative about it. It can be very beneficial. But, they just memorize these rules, and they, like I said, and this is why I have some resentment for my grandpa, because he introduced them, and this was like the worst one, the no talk about the past thing, because I need to talk about the past, because the reason why they won't talk to me is because they think, oh, Ryan, and I'm going to get more in details about this, but Ryan had a character flaw, and there was something wrong with him, and that's why his shot got messed up, and that's why he was bad, and that's why the problems happened with his dad, and he just couldn't accept no, and he just sucked, and he fell apart because of the pressure. No, none of that. None of that happened. It was all because of the shoot away machine. And that's why I wanted them to know. It wasn't my fault. If it wasn't for the shoot away machine, none of the stupid shit would have happened, dude. None of it would have happened. It would have all been good. And that's why I just want them to get to understand that. So then maybe they'd be able to talk to me, and maybe we can move on. But they're stuck in their version of the past. They're the ones who are stuck in the past, ironically. So my aunt is like, Ryan, this is why your grandpa, didn't your grandpa teach you not to talk about the past? Or, your mom said, your grandpa said, the reason why you have schizophrenia, which my grandpa said, never said I had schizophrenia, but my aunt thought so. The reason you have schizophrenia, which I never had, I don't have it, never had it, is because you're stuck in the past and you won't let go of the past. No. I don't have schizophrenia, and that has nothing to do with anything. I'm not the one stuck in the past. I just want to study the basketball videos. It would help me out a ton. And, I did things that were phenomenal that nobody does. And this is the thing, like, it would just help out a lot. And I'm not the one stuck in the past. They're the ones who are stuck in the past because they have a false interpretation of it. And they should just talk to me, and we should move on and all that. So And it's still to this day, I still want to talk to them and I still want to move on, but they still haven't talked to me. My dad still hasn't talked to me since. My mom still hasn't seen me since. So I'm going to get to that. But so I'm trying to get in touch with my mom and dad and so at this point I'm living in San Diego and I want to get my basketball videos from Los Angeles. This is 2014. I'm going to get more to the story in a little bit, but basically, as you can see, everything was falling apart. And then, so I'm at San Diego, and that's when I'm writing and I become a right winger at this point. So, and I'm fighting against the Illuminati. I'm fighting against the race mixing agenda. And so I'm saying the N-word. I'm saying, I became a racist. I became very racist. And so I'll get more in detail there. So, but my point is, though, I'd never been like that before. My whole life I was a leftist. My whole life I was communist leftist. And then I switched 2014.